Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Vijay Virana, and in this presentation we'll be covering basic aspects of launching a NetScaler instance in an AWS environment. This will involve us using AWS Marketplace to search for a NetScaler AMI and using EC2 to launch an instance. So let's go ahead and take a look at the prerequisites and a process of going through launching a NetScaler instance. Alright, the first prerequisite is obviously having an AWS account, and the second one we assume in this presentation is having a VPC setup with subnets already configured. The subnets including management subnet, data subnet, which is the web for the vServer subnet, and the backend servers. A brief understanding of AWS VPC and EC2. Understanding of security groups at VPC level, and process of allowing port 22, 80, and 443 inbound and outbound. Same with routing, ability to route and management traffic and SIP to reach internet. All these setups are done at VPC level. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second set of prerequisites. For this demonstration, here's our VPC subnets. We've already configured a VPC subnet 10.217/16. Our NSIP, or the management subnet, is in 10.217.245/24 subnet. vServer subnet in 10.217.145/24. And the SNP, or the MIP subnet, being in 10.217.130/24. And the last and the final that I have here is the access and the secret key. This will be used when we set up a headshare pair between two units and the REST API server needs to be contacted. So in our deployment scenario, we'll be using this secret key and access key. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it's done. So I've already logged in to our NetScaler or AWS environment, and we have already configured 5 VPCs, and this is the VPC that we will be dealing with today. All right, and I've already pre-configured my subnets. 10.245/24 being my management, 145 being my vServer or the front end, and 230 being the subnet for my backend. So let's go ahead and go to EC2. Let's start with the process of launching an instance. To launch an instance, once you log in, you go to the EC2 dashboard and then click on Launch Instance. This brings up a wizard. Either you can use Classic, Quick Launch, and AWS Marketplace. Let's go with the process of using Classic Wizard here. Let's go ahead to AWS Marketplace, search for NetScaler. For testing purpose, let's go pick up Enterprise 10 megabits per second. Okay. This gives you details about what this version is, and the latest version is 71.6002.e. Hit on Continue. Now here's an important thing that we need to pay attention to. The quick launch, launch with one click is not supported currently. So we'll be using launch with EC2 console, and you have an option of selecting releases, but as I said before, the only release that we have at this point in time is 10.0 71.6008. So we'll leave that as default. And my VPC setup is on US East Virginia console, so I'll use this EC2 console and click on it. Click on Continue. Now, we need 4 three interfaces, so we'll be picking M1 large, EC2. Let's pick our management subnet, which is 10.217.245. Click on continue. And this is where we need to put in the user data, which is the access key and the management key. So let's go ahead and copy that from the presentation. And it has to be in this format with the codes for the keys. See that code there? All right. Now we have an option of choosing two interfaces. So let's leave it at one interface, and then we can shut it down and we can add it back up. So we'll leave it as auto assign and click on continue. Next. Again, optional. Next. And I already have a pre-configured key pair that starts with VJV key pair, so I'm going to use that pre-configured key. Hit on continue. And the security group, I'll briefly walk you through an instance is coming up. I already have a security group that's that's put in at the VPC level. It's called VJ_security_group. And what it does, what it is doing, it is very simple. It's allowing all IPs for testing purpose on port 22, 80, and 443. So I'm going to use that security group. Click on next. And we're all set. Hit on launch. Now this takes some amount of time, anywhere depending from 30 to 60 seconds to a minute, minute and a half to 2 minutes, depending on how loaded the servers are. So hit on close, and then we can go to the instance and see it's coming up here. While the instance is coming up, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the security group that I mentioned. VPC, security groups. And this is the security group that I was referring to, that I'll be using. Let's make it bigger. I'm allowing 3000 to 3020, 443, 22, port 80. Again, I put in 0 here. This is only for testing purpose only. Outbound is 8022, 443. And I also put in all, but usually if it's in production, you probably don't want to have that. And as far as my routing is concerned, it's again very simple. Association is only for my management, which is 10.217.245/24. I've not associated the vServer yet. I've not associated the backend. Probably we don't need in this case. Okay. Let's go back to my EC2 console and take a look at the instance status. It's still coming up. So while this comes up, I'll just put it as launch demo B. So earlier in the day, I did exactly same process, and I brought up this machine, launch demo A. Additionally, what I also did was, since it takes a lot of time, I went ahead and shut it down. Since it came up with only a single interface. If you look at launch B, you'll see there is only one interface associated with it. ETH0. That is exactly how it came up on my machine too, the earlier machine, launch demo A. But what I did was, once I shut it down, I added two more interfaces, ETH1 and ETH2. The way I did that was right-click on it, attach a network interface, and then I click from the combo box. I choose from the box. And the only way we support adding only way Amazon supports and the way Netscaler is coded is we have to have the instance shut down completely to add an interface. Once you add it, you can bring it back up and then they'll be functional. My ETH1 is the web traffic, ETH2 is the backend traffic, ETH0 is the management, 245.68. What I also did at that same time was I went to my Elastic IPs, hit on allocate address at the PC level, clicked on yes. Let me dissociate the previous one before. Click to associate my launch demo A, and we'll choose the IP address 10.217.245.68. Click on associate. Okay. Now back to instance. My instance is back up. All right. We can demo instance B as well. Now, if you see on my demo A, there's a public IP associated with it, 54.236.208.101. And that's associated with my NSIP. So let's do the same thing for demo B. All right, Elastic IP. It's a free IP that we already have. Associate. Demo B. Yes. So we're all set. Let's test connectivity. We'll use the PuTTY. Okay, let's connectivity to 201. Looks like we're able to access it. So that pretty much covers how you use Amazon Web Services to launch a Netscaler instance and then associate an Elastic IP to contact it from the outside world. That way you can manage and configure the whips and snips. Well, what I also want to bring up at this point is a couple of things if you are not able to connect from the outside world. The first and foremost thing is to check your security group. And once you click on the instance, you can see the security group. You can click on the view rules and see if all the ports are allowed or not. That's one thing to check. And also we want to remember is when you create subnets at VPC level, here, let's take, for example, let's take the subnet that so this is a /24 subnet. Let's take example of 10.217.145/24. Now we have to remember by default Amazon Web Services does not allow you to use the first 4 IPs in any subnet and the last one on any subnet. Those are reserved for Amazon Web Services communication. So if I was to go choose 10.217.145.1, it's not going to work. It's going to cause you network issues. There's going to be communication issues, and it's not going to work as intended. So that's a caveat that we need to pay attention to when it comes to subnet. If you have any further questions on this, feel free to contact Citrix Escalation. Again, my name is Vijay Virana. You can contact me at vijay.virana@citrix.com. That's it for this presentation. Thanks for your time.